So I was rewatching this scene from Mater Private Eye, where a bunch of old cars are sneaking into some secret meeting, and my jaw literally dropped. The whole room is covered in yellow lemons. Lemons on the tables, lemons on the walls, lemons everywhere. Disney animators sat down and basically drew a lemon party. Yeah, you know the one. And if you don't, do not Google it. I'm serious. Don't. It was one of the most famous shock sites from the early 2000s, showing elderly men doing things you absolutely cannot unsee. And now remember, this scene is called the Lemon Meeting. It's full of little old villain cars, and the whole thing is framed as a cute joke for kids. Disney actually smuggled this into a movie that was watched by millions of 7-year-olds. Welcome to Mr. Blessed. Yeah, that one moment hit me so hard I went back and combed through the entire franchise, and I found 30 moments that are absolutely not for kids. Not even close. Some are just dirty adult jokes. Some are dark. And a few are so messed up you start questioning if you were even watching a family movie. Look, the cars are alive. We all know that. I've talked about it 100 times. But the stuff they actually say and do, that's a whole other thing. Let's go. I'm starting with the one everyone kind of knows, but nobody really breaks down. Remember the scene where Mater finds out Doc Hudson won the Piston Cup 3 times? And Mater pretends to gag and says, "He did what in his cup?" For a kid, it's just Mater being a goofball.
He won 3 Piston Cups!
He did what in his cup?
He misheard, it's funny, moving on. But say it out loud. Piston Cup sounds exactly like Piston Cup. Mater is literally asking, he pissed in his cup 3 times about the biggest trophy in the entire franchise. The most prestigious prize in their whole world. And it's named in a way that, if you say it a tiny bit wrong, becomes a joke about somebody peeing in their trophy. I got wrecked when I realized this joke isn't just snuck in, it's the centerpiece. The whole franchise revolves around a trophy whose name is a hidden pee joke. Now back to the lemons, because there's another layer that makes this even worse. The episode is called Mater Private Eye, and Mater goes undercover into this secret villain hangout. And every bad guy in the Cars universe is a lemon. You know, Gremlins, Pacers, the busted models. Their hangout is literally a lemon party. Now, Disney's lawyers could say, hey, it's just wordplay about broken cars, get your mind out of the gutter, but the fact that somebody in that writer's room knew about that site, put it in the script, and it made it past every level of censorship, that's wild. Somebody at Pixar or Disney sat down and thought, you know what, let's drop a shock site reference in a kid's movie. And they did it. Millions of kids watched it, and nobody noticed until they grew up. Okay, this next one actually gave me chills when it clicked. It's from the short Time Travel Mater. They show a big historical moment. The wedding of Stanley and Lizzie, the founders of Radiator Springs. Beautiful scene. Everyone's there. It's a party. After the ceremony, the newlyweds drive off to this place called Comfy Caverns. And the camera holds on the outside of the caverns, and from inside you start hearing rhythmic car honks. And they get louder, and faster, and louder, and faster.
We can go now.
For a kid, it's just, oh, the cars are celebrating, they're beeping. For an adult, that is the sound of a wedding night. Straight up. The animators sat down and made a scene where 2 cars are having sex off-screen, and the only audio is the honking speeding up. In a kid's movie, from Disney. It's such a blatant adult joke that the second I put it together, I couldn't believe it's actually in the film. And this isn't even the only time the Cars world admits sex exists. Remember the twins, Mia and Tia, Lightning McQueen's superfans? The ones who pop their headlights up when he drives by? Everyone thinks, oh, they blinked at him. Cute little wink. Nope. That is a scene of 2 fangirls lifting up their shirts in front of a rock star. It's the classic groupie trope, the one every rock movie has done 100 times. They just did it with headlights. McQueen looks over, gives them the eyebrow wiggle, and goes, I love being me, and security immediately drags them off. Just like real life with celebrities. But here's what really breaks my brain. If pop-up headlights are boobs, then by the logic of this world, every other car is just permanently topless.
Yeah, I'm Tia. We're like your biggest fans. Ka-chow!
I love being me.
And during races, the crowd in the stands does the wave, where everyone flashes their headlights in sync. So that's literally a stadium full of people all lifting up their shirts at the same time. It makes public events in this universe really, really weird to think about. Honestly, my brain shut off when I hit this scene from the first movie that I'd watched 100 times and never caught. Mac the truck is driving at night, fighting to stay awake. And for like half a second, the camera shows a neon sign for a roadside diner. And the sign says, convertible waitresses. Sounds innocent, right? But in the real world, any truck stop with a sign like that means one thing. It's a strip club, a topless bar. And in the Cars world, a convertible is a car with no roof. Literally topless. That sign is a direct reference to a strip joint for truckers. And it's right there in the movie for 1 second. For the adults who might notice. Speaking of Mac, when he rolls into California and realizes he lost McQueen somewhere on the road, he panics and says to himself, "Did I forget to wipe my mud flaps?" Mud flaps are the rubber things behind the wheels. Whatever. But the context he says it in, when he's beating himself up for being stupid and forgetful, that is exactly the phrase an adult uses when they forgot to, wipe, after using the bathroom. Same intonation, same vibe. They took a basic adult butt joke and translated it into car language, and kids just think he's worried about his mud flaps.
What? Did I forget to wipe my mud flaps?
Okay, now we go fully dark. In Planes, there's a character named Nick Lupin Lopez, and he was the old partner of Blade the Fire Helicopter. Blade used to be a TV star back in the day, this big cop show about helicopters. Everyone loved him, he did his own stunts, he had the whole life. And then one day while shooting a stunt, Nick died. Like, actually died. Crashed and died right there on set.
Blade was a TV star?
139 episodes of Law Breaking Love.
Quiet! Blade was such a big TV star. What is he doing here?
I don't know.
We don't know!
It's a mysterious...
And Blade just hovered in the air, frozen, not knowing what to do, and watched his best friend die.
Life doesn't always go the way you expect it, but you came here to become a firefighter. If you give up today, think of all the lives you won't save tomorrow.
It broke him so hard he quit showbiz, became a grumpy fire helicopter, and now lives with the guilt. And I just want to remind you, this is a kid's movie about little planes. And it has a character with textbook PTSD who watched his friend die and blames himself for not saving him. At the fire base, they have a memorial wall with photos of all the planes they lost. An actual memorial in a kid's cartoon. Once I saw it, I could not watch this movie the same way ever again.
What happened to Nick? Nick? You mean Nick Lupin Lopez from the TV show?
It was just a routine day on the set, and Nick, he was doing his trademark loop for a stunt scene, but there was this freak crosswind. Blade was the first one on the scene, but he didn't know what to do.
And in Planes, Fire and Rescue, there's this villain, Cad Spinner. He owns a hotel inside a national park. Total rich guy scumbag. And in the climax of the movie, when a wildfire is closing in and about to burn up all his guests, Spinner redirects all the park's water to the sprinklers on his hotel roof. All of it. To save his property. Meanwhile, the firefighters can't mix fire retardant because there's no water left. Meaning Spinner is literally willing to burn his own guests alive to save a building. That's not cartoon villain stuff. That's full-on sociopath behavior. A guy who'll kill people for a paycheck. In a movie, for kids. Back to dark jokes. In the short Mater the Greater, Mater is telling McQueen this insane story about jumping over 10 canyons. And at some point, he casually mentions that McQueen was actually in the jump too. McQueen doesn't remember. And Mater, with the straightest face you've ever seen, goes, "Oh yeah, well, you didn't make it." Mater is telling McQueen, who is standing right in front of him, that he died. Like he's reminding him about a broken washing machine. That is brutal. And it actually spawned one of the darkest fan theories out there, that McQueen has CTE, chronic traumatic encephalopathy. The brain disease boxers and football players get from too many hits to the head. McQueen has had a ton of horrific crashes in his career. And that passive, half-asleep, okay, sure, whatever you say reaction he has to Mater's insane stories, those are clinical symptoms. So the theory is that the entire Mater's Tall Tales series is just McQueen hallucinating because his brain is scrambled from decades of crashes. People debate this on forums dead seriously. And that's not the only drug reference in these movies. In Unidentified Flying Mater, the UFO Area 51 short, there's one moment that absolutely killed me. Mater is flying around above Radiator Springs with an alien, and they fly over Fillmore. Fillmore is the hippie Volkswagen bus who always has his jar of organic fuel with him. And he looks up, sees a flying tow truck zoom past him, and silently just puts the jar down. He thinks he's hallucinating from drinking too much of his oil. That is a straight up psychedelics joke. The hippie character thinks he got dosed because he's seeing flying cars in a kid's cartoon. And in the Planes universe, drugs are just out in the open. In the first movie, Dusty doesn't make the cut for the international race because he's just a crop duster. But then he gets in because the plane who took his spot got busted for using illegal fuel, nitromethane. The movie says the street names are Zip Juice and Go-Go Punch. And it straight up says the stuff blurs your vision and slurs your speech.
Nitromethane?
Oh yeah, Zip Juice, Go-Go Punch. That stuff will blur your vision and slur your speech.
It's illegal?
I mean it totally illegal.
That's a textbook description of heroin or stimulants, meaning the planes world has doping scandals just like real sports. Planes are juicing, they're getting caught, they're getting banned. That is a seriously adult topic shoved into a kid's movie and disguised as weird fuel. And that same movie has a scene that is not for children. After Dusty loses a race in Germany, he walks into a Bavarian bar totally broken. The bartender takes one look at him, doesn't say a word, slams down a huge stein in front of him and goes, "You sad, you drink." Thick German accent, the whole bit. And Dusty goes, "Thanks, great advice," and chugs it. In a kid's movie, a plane drinks alcohol because he's depressed. This isn't a joke about getting drunk. This is straight up normalizing alcohol as a way to deal with depression. No lesson, no moral. The parents watch and know exactly what's happening. The kids go, the plane is drinking juice. Switching to Cars 3. This movie is already dark on its own. McQueen is getting old. The young cars are pushing him out. He has a horrific crash. But there's one moment that made me literally jump. During the Crazy 8 demolition derby where cars smash into each other in the mud until one is left, one of the characters, a taxi, says something mid-fight, and they bleep it out. Like, actually bleep it. Like in an adult movie when they censor a curse word. In a Disney Pixar kids movie, a bleep sound. And if you listen to the rhythm, it's the F word. So they deliberately put in a scene where a car drops an F-bomb, and they covered it with a bleep. So adults would know what was said, and kids wouldn't. That's the moment they officially stomped all over the kid audience line.
Stay for a dive, huh? Hey, buddy, get the out of my way!
Also in Cars 3, there's a scene where Cruz Ramirez is training McQueen on the beach and warns him he might trip in the sand. And McQueen goes, flat as a board, "Life's a beach."
What if you fall on this beach and can't get up?
Well, life's a beach, and then you drive.
Literally, life's a beach. But it sounds exactly like the adult phrase, "life's a B word." It's a hidden swear hiding behind one letter. And there's another Cars 3 scene at the demolition derby where the announcer yells into the mic, "No cursing, it's family night." The writers are making a meta joke about how on a normal day, everyone in this universe swears like sailors.
Rule number 3, no cursing. It's family night.
But tonight they're holding back. Because the kids are here. Okay, now religion. In the Cars universe, the characters don't swear to God. They swear to corporations. In the post-credits scene of the first Cars movie, the minivan couple, Minnie and Van, are bickering.
For the love of Chrysler, can we please ask someone for directions?
No, there's an on-ramp close. I know it.
They've gotten completely lost in the desert, and Minnie yells out, "Oh, for the love of Chrysler." That is literally the replacement for the love of Christ, meaning in this world, Chrysler is God, or at least Jesus level. They have an entire religion built around car companies. And Minnie yells it like a prayer. That's such an insane implication for a whole universe that I want to make a separate video just about this. Then there's a scene where Flo is in court and they ask her what she sells at her cafe. And she sweetly smiles and says, "I have gas."
Flo, what do you have at your store?
I have gas. Lots of gas.
Okay, boys, stay with me.
And Mater and Ramon start cracking up like idiots. Because gas in English means fuel. And also, you know, farts. That's what they're laughing at. A fart joke. In a courtroom. And at one point in the first movie, McQueen calls Radiator Springs Hillbilly Hell. That sounds tame to us, but in a Disney movie, the word hell is basically borderline swearing. Disney heroes do not say that.
Don't leave me here. I'm in hillbilly hell. My IQ's dropping by the second. I'm becoming one of them.
Okay, planes. There's a small scene in there that actually shocked me with how blatant it was. Dusty meets this exotic plane, a Shani, from India, and he looks at her and dreamily goes, "Look at that prop." In the plane's universe, the propeller is very clearly a phallic symbol. The whole movie jokes about it. The bad guys tell Dusty, "With a prop that small? Really?" That is literally a joke about a man's junk. And here, Dusty looks at a pretty female plane and admires her prop. It's a guy checking out a woman's chest in a kid's movie, The grossest Planes joke is when the villains call Dusty a leaky old fuel truck, and his buddy Chug, who is a fuel truck, yells back, "Who you calling leaky? I'll leak on you if you don't shut your trap. I'll leak on you." So a plane is basically threatening to pee on another plane, a biological threat disguised as a mechanical problem, in a kid's movie. And in Cars, there's a moment I just noticed recently. Back in Radiator Springs, the sheriff is getting a checkup, and Doc Hudson is looking under his hood. McQueen walks by, peeks under the sheriff's chassis. And the sheriff catches him and yells, "Get a good peek, city boy." That is literally a scene where somebody walks in on another guy getting examined by a doctor in a private place. Because a car's undercarriage is the equivalent of, lower regions. So it's a scene of a medical exam on somebody's private parts, in a cartoon. In Tokyo Mater, there's a villain named Kabuto, a Japanese drift racer. And his whole thing is, any car he beats in a race, he strips. He rips off all their custom parts, all the stickers, all the body kits, leaves them in stock condition, meaning factory fresh, naked. And in this universe, being stock is like being naked in public. It's humiliation, meaning Kabuto is literally forcing losers to walk around naked in front of everyone. And when Mater beats him at the end, he does the exact same thing to Kabuto, strips him. Public humiliation through forced nudity, in a kid's movie. And here's a fun one. In the sequel, there's a scene where Mater walks into a Japanese bathroom, and you know how those high-tech Japanese toilets have all the functions? And he goes into a stall, and suddenly a jet of water blasts him from below. Kids think, haha, funny car wash. But it's a bidet. Mater just got hit with a jet of water, right under his chassis, in a very private spot, out of nowhere. And the whole joke is that he got ambushed. It's a bidet joke hiding behind a wacky space toilet. Moving to Cars on the Road, the newer series. And it's also packed. In the episode Dino Park, Mater sees two prehistoric dinosaur cars fighting, and he yells, "That's one big son of a," and they cut him off mid-word.
That's one big old son of a spinal crank Shafterex, the largest and
Classic move, cut the swear with a sound effect, and let the viewer fill it in. Kids won't get it. Adults fill in son of a B word no problem. Same series, the post-apocalyptic episode Road Rumblers. McQueen complains, "That nasty diner you picked gave me gas."
Yeah, well, that crummy diner you picked out gave me gas, and not the good kind.
And not the good kind. Not the good kind. Again, gas means fuel and it means farts. And McQueen is literally saying, "That diner gave me bad gas," meaning he's bloated. The main character of a kid's franchise is complaining about his farts. In the short Moon Mater, which is about a space race, Mater flies up to save an astronaut stuck on the moon named Impala the 13th, 13. That's a direct reference to Apollo 13, the mission that almost ended in the crew dying. Adults know the Tom Hanks movie. Kids have no clue. That's a deep adult reference. And in the same episode, they mention Parking Area 51, a parody of Area 51. So you've got Cold War conspiracy references in a kid's movie too. And the biggest meta joke in the whole franchise is the Trucks episode from Cars on the Road. A bunch of trucks gather in a parking lot and sing this song. And the song is basically one word, trucks, over and over a synth beat, and it gets in your head like a parasite. Parenting critics caught this immediately. The creators made this song on purpose so it would stick in kids' heads. You know why? So kids beg their parents to replay the episode over and over. And the parents have to sit there and listen to it. It is a psychological attack on parents through their own children. The animators literally admitted, we made this unbearable song on purpose to drive your kid crazy so they drive you crazy. It's a knife in the back with a smile on. And honestly, genius. You know what else shows up all over the spin-offs? Constant jokes about getting old. Leaky intakes. Rusty fluids. Smog checks. To a kid, those are just mechanical problems. But to an adult, those are straight up jokes about prostate issues, incontinence, creaky joints, everything that kicks in after 40. It's midlife crisis comedy stuffed inside a kid's show. And Mater has this mechanical lisp where air whistles through his buck teeth. Literally an imperfection grown adults see in themselves. And the last one that won't leave my head. In the first Planes movie, Dusty's friend Chug starts talking about dying during a race. And with total excitement he goes, "There's nothing better than dying doing what you love," with a smile, like a toast. That is a direct quote of extreme sports fatalism. Real racers, climbers, riders, they actually say stuff like that about death. In a kid's movie, one little plane tells another little plane, better to die racing than to live. And the camera doesn't even pause on it. It just moves on like nothing happened. They just normalize dying for glory, for an audience of 7-year-olds. And you see where this leads. When you watch this movie as a kid, you see cars, you see races, you see McQueen and Mater being best friends. But when you come back to it as an adult, you see sex, you see death, you see drugs, you see alcoholism, you see PTSD, you see rich guys ready to burn people alive for money, you see shock site references and medical exams. You see a completely different movie. And the wildest part is it was all right there in front of you the whole time. You were just too little to get it. The animators at Pixar and Disney pulled off something basically impossible. They made a movie that literally ages with you. It unlocks new layers the older you get. And the second you realize Cars isn't just a kid's cartoon, it's a 2-level machine that'll keep showing you new sides of itself your whole life. It changes everything. Every rewatch turns into a scavenger hunt. And if you want to see the next 30 moments I couldn't fit in here, and trust me, there are way more, you know what to hit.